Next point is clock skew. So clock skew means what? It is the difference between the arrival times of the clock at different device, and it is called as a clock skew. So example of clock skew is given here. So here diagram for the clock skew is given here. Clock signal is connected to both the flip-flop, and is the input to the flip-flop, and output of second is the input to the second one. So buffering the clock means in a large system the single clock signal may not have adequate fan out to drive all the devices, so it may be necessary to provide one or two copies of the clock signal. So the buffering method figure 1 shows produce excessive clock skew since clock 1 and clock 2 are delayed through an extra buffer compared to clock. A recommended second figure is all of the clock signals go through identical buffers and thus have roughly equal delays. Then add delays in data path, minimizing the clock skew. The amount of the inserted delay, that is the number of BUFD or invert D macros in the data path, it should large enough so that the delay becomes sufficiently greater than the clock skew. So here a diagram for the add delay in data path is shown. Then clock reversing. In this method, the clock signal arrives at the clock of the port of the destination register sooner than the source register. Therefore, the destination register will clock in the source register value before the source register receives its clock age. So clock reversing method will not be effective in circular structures such as Johnson counters because it is not possible to define source register explicitly. Then the next is the clock reversing in circular structure. Now this example shows the clock skew problem exists between the flip-flop U1 and U3. So here three D flip-flops are connected and buffer D is connected in between the flip-flop 1, 2 and 2, 3. Then alternate phase clocking. Now there are the following are the most common methods of alternate phase clocking, that is clocking on alternate edge and clocking with two phases. So clocking on alternate phase, clocking on alternate edges, it means alternate to the alternate flip-flops clockings are so in this method sequentially adjacent registers are clocked on opposite edge of the clock, and this method provides a short path clock skew margin of about 1/2 clock cycle. Then this diagram shows the signal propagation from the previous circuit. Then clocking with two phases. Now here the sequentially adjacent resistors are alternatively clocked on two different phases of the same clock, and in this case between each two adjacent resistors there is a safety margin approximately equal to the phase difference of the two phases. Next is the synchronization, that is a timing consideration related point. So what is synchronization? A synchronous circuit is a digital circuit in which the changes in the state of memory elements are synchronized by a clock signal. Changes in which the changes in the circuit of the in the state of the memory elements are synchronized by clock signal. So here sequential circuits are given. Input levels are 3 input levels are given, 3 output levels, and clock pulse is provided to the sequential circuit. Then the next is types of skew. There are three types of clock skew: positive skew, negative skew, and zero clock skew. So what is positive skew? So positive skew means it occurs when the transmitting register receives the clock tick earlier than the receiving register, where delta is greater than 0. Negative skew means it occurs when the receiving register gets the clock tick earlier than the sending register, and zero clock skew means it refers to the arrival of clock tick simultaneously at the transmitting and receiving register. So this diagram shows the timing diagram of the positive skew and the negative skew for delta greater than 0 and delta less than 0. So the rising clock edge is delayed by positive delta at the second register. Now what is clock distribution? On a small chip, the clock distribution network is just a wire and possibly an inverter for the second clock. On practical chip, the RC delay of the wire resistance and gate load is very long. So the variations in this delay cause a clock to get two different elements at different times, and this is called as a clock skew. So the most chips use the repeaters to buffer the clock and realize the delay and reduces but doesn't eliminate the skew. Now what are the solutions for clock skew? The first is reduce the clock skew, that is careful clock distribution network design, plenty of metal wiring resources, and tolerate clock skew, that is choose circuit structure insensitive to skew. Next is the clock jitter. So the temporal variation of the clock period at a given point, then the clock period can reduce or expand on a cycle by cycle basis, and it is often specified at a given point on the chip. Jitter directly impacts the performance of sequential system. Now here the diagram for the ideal clock age is given. So the cycle to cycle jitter, that is T jitter, typically refer to the time varying derivations of a signal clock period relative to an ideal reference clock. So a diagram for this is given. Next is the causes of it. The clock generator circuitry, noise, power supply variations, internal from nearby circuitry, etc. The jitter is contributing a factor to the design margin specified for a timing closure, and it must reduce the jitter in the clock network to maximize the performance. So these are the causes for the clock jitter. Next is the jitter types. So based on how it is measured in a system, it is of the following type. The first is the period jitter, cycle to cycle jitter, and phase jitter. So what is period jitter? The deviation in the cycle time of the clock signal with respect to ideal period over a number of randomly selected cycles, say 10k cycles, and average value of clock period deviation over the selected cycles, that is RMS value. The difference of max and minimum deviation within the selected group. So we often use the term jitter, but first we will see some more information related to the clock jitter here. So the deviation from the, before going to the period jitter, we will again see what is jitter. The deviation from a true periodicity of a presumed periodic signal in the electronics and telecommunication, often in the relation to a reference clock source. Jitter may be observed in the characteristics such as frequency of successive pulses, the signal amplitude or the phase of periodic signal. The jitter is significant and usually undesired. The factor in the design of almost all communications links, for example USB. In clock recovery application, it is called timing jitter. Now it can be quantified in the same term as all time varying signal, for example root mean square or peak to peak displacement. Also, like other time varying signal, jitter can be expressed in terms of spectral density. So jitter period is the interval between two times of the maximum effect or the minimum effect of signal characteristic that varies regularly with time. The jitter frequency, the more commonly quoted, is its inverse. So it may be caused by the electromagnetic interference and crosstalk with carriage of other signal. It can cause a display monitor to flicker, affect the performance of the processor in personal computer. It introduces a clicks or other undesired effect in audio signal and loss of transmitted data between network devices. The amount of tolerable jitter depend on the affected application. So, the clock in digital electronic we refer to a very simple signal which is a sequence of the zeros and ones, often with the one duration time equal to the zero duration time. The simple signal carries only one information or timing information, and it represents a basic measure of the time like metronome, and as a metronome it is simply used by more or less complex circuit to change their status. A typical example of such a circuit is quartz watch and also a digital audio system. Any real world clock is affected by a precision and accuracy problem. In fact, the frequency of the clock is never exactly the one required. Absolute precision and accuracy do not exist in practice. Now you can better see the difference between the two in different timing perspective. Continuing with the quartz watch example, in the long term, you can sometimes see that your watch is always slow or fast. That is, its clock frequency is not exactly the nominal one, and this is the precision. So clearly, any watch need to have a reasonable precision to be of any use. In short term, each 1 second interval measured by the watch is very slightly different from the next. So the first type is the period jitter, the deviation in cycle time of the clock signal with respect to ideal period over a number of randomly selected cycle. An average value of the clock period deviation over the selected cycle, and the difference of max and mean deviation within the selected group. Then second is cycle to cycle jitter. Now C to C we can say it. It is the deviation in the cycle of the two adjacent clock cycles over a random number of clock cycle. And this is typically reported as a peak value within the random group, and this is used to determine the high frequency jitter. The next is phase jitter. It is a frequency domain representation of the rapid short term random fluctuation in the phase of the waveform, and it can be translated to jitter values for the use in digital design. Then next is the effects of jitter. So jitter affect the clock delay of the circuit and the time. The clock is available at sync point, setup and hold of the path element affected by it. The performance or the functional issues for the chip, so it is necessary that the designer knows the jitter values of the clock signal and account for it while analyzing the timing. So example of the delay estimation, the delay of one gate is T gate and the gate delay of path 1 is 5 T gate. The delay through OR1 and OR2 is 2 T gate path 2. So here AND1, AND2 and AND3, path 1, path 2. Here diagram for this is given. 3 AND gates are connected, 2 OR gates are used, and here delay through OR1 and OR2 then errors of the clock sources. So error can be divided into systematic, that is systematic errors are nominally identical from chip to chip and are typically predictable. The systematic errors can be deducted from measurements over a set of chips, and random errors are due to manufacturing variations. These are difficult to model and eliminate. Next is the sources of skew and jitter. So a perfect clock is a simultaneously triggering. Clocks are not identical. The two parallel paths don't result in exactly the same delay. The resources of the skew and jitter, the clock signal generation, manufacturing device variations, internet interconnect variations, environmental variations, and capacitive coupling. Then skew and jitter sources in synchronous clock distribution diagram is shown for this. Sources of skew and jitter, the first one is the clock signal generation. The generation of the clock signal itself causes the jitter, and the low frequency reference clock high frequency. VCO, the manufacturing device variations. There are many sources of variations including oxide variations that affect the gain and threshold, then dopant variations, depth of junction, and then lateral dimensions, width and length variations. Then interconnect variations. that is interlayer dielectric thickness variation. Then environmental variations, temperature, power supply, temperature gradients across the chip is a result of variation in power dissipation across. Then capacitive coupling, the coupling between the clock wire and adjacent signal results in timing uncertainty. Another major source of the clock uncertainty is the variation in the gate capacitance related to the sequential element. So these are the sources of skew and jitter which are given here. Thank you.